Good morning, honorable members. Before we proceed, today we have visitors with us. We have Kitengela International School here in the assembly. They are led by their Mr. Munyao James, who is the deputy head teacher of the school. We have with us students of class 4 and 5, about 50 students, and they're coming to look at, they're studying social studies and social studies class 8 and environmental, okay? Then we also have some teachers accompanying them. Good morning. How are you? Yeah, we are more than joyed to welcome you to the County Assembly of Machakos. Students from Kitengela International School. I also am made aware we do have Eugene. Is Eugene there? Eugene Mutuko, is he with us? Is part of the entourage? Yes, Eugene Mutuko, I think, is the next group. He'll be coming in the next group. So how many groups do we have? This is class 2. This is class 2. We have 2 groups? Yes. Okay. So the group which we have here is the first one. We only have 5, 4, and 5. 6 and 7 will come later. Yeah. Okay, thank you. I understand there are 2 groups, so we'll start with this one, and then we'll be able to start with the next group. At that point, I'll be able to call. One of the members of the area, Honorable Dan, I think you are from that area of this Kitengela International School. So when the next group comes, I'll call you to be able to address them so that you can be able to welcome them. But for me now is to welcome all of you and tell you, Karibuni sana, welcome to this County Assembly of Machakos. This is where we do legislation. This is where members of County Assembly come to sit and perform their duties. And we are more than joyed to have you around. And honorable members, can we give them a loud of applause to welcome the young ones. Karibuni sana, and feel part of the assembly today. Karibuni. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Proceed.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
I would like to request Honorable Daniel Mbevi, maybe you could just stand up and welcome your students under that order number, communication, so they can feel welcomed by one from that specific sub-county. I think you are the only one who is nearer there. Karibu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Daniel Mbevi, MCA Molongo Shukima Ward.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Point of order from Honorable Kiilu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I can see the students are straining to see their honorable member. With your permission, can you allow him to come in from and use the other mic?
Please, feel free. Honorable Dan, come use the
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, my name is Daniel Mbevi, MCA Mololongo Shukima Ward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to welcome our young ones from Kitengela, and I take this opportunity to welcome all of you. It's very good that you have come to see what we do here. I happen to know one of your students. Can you say hi? Yes, karibu sana. So I take this opportunity to welcome you to our today's deliberations. Feel free, ask questions, learn more, because you are the future leaders of tomorrow. So I take this opportunity to welcome you, and feel honored. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Daniel Mbevi. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 3, messages.
Proceed.
Order number 4, petitions.
Proceed.
Order number 5, papers.
Honorable members, under this order number, we have one paper to be laid by the Honorable Frederick Mudoka, and on his behalf, I think Honorable Justice Kitengu will lay the paper. Honorable Justice Kitengu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Justice Kitengu, MCA Kiva Ward, and Deputy Majority Leader, Machakos, County Assembly. Audit brief for Honorable Mudoka, who is the Chair, Committee on Implementation. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay on the table of the Assembly today, Tuesday, the 15th, Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay on the table of the Assembly today, Wednesday, on the 16th day of February 2022, the report of the Implementation Committee on Implementation Status of Machakos County Agricultural Training Center, ATC. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Justice Kitengu, for laying that paper. And I would like to appeal to the table clerk. I want these documents to be reviewed before they come to the floor of the House. I do not want to see documents coming here with mistakes, which inconveniences the honorable member when he's reading, because I thank him for being sharp enough to realize today is Wednesday. You are still on Tuesday. The table desk is still on Tuesday. You need to move to Wednesday. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 6, notice of motion.
Again, honorable members, under this order number, we have one notice of motion to be moved again by the Honorable Justice Kitengu, Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Once again, my name is Honorable Justice Kitengu, MCA Kiva Ward, and Deputy Majority Leader. Audit brief for Chair Committee on Implementation, Honorable Mudoka. Honorable Speaker, that aware that the Article 183.3 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 provides that the County Executive Committee shall provide the County Assembly with full and regular report on all matters relating to the county. Further, aware that Article 185.3 of Constitution provides that a County Assembly, while respecting the principles of separation of power, may exercise oversight over the County Executive Committee and any other county executive organs. Noting that Standing Order number 1882 and 3 mandates the Committee on Implementation to do the following. Scrutinize the resolutions of the Assembly, including adopted committee reports, petitions, and the undertakings given by the County Executive Committee, and examine whether or not such decisions and undertakings have been implemented and where implemented, the extent to which they have been implemented, and whether such implementation has taken place within the minimum time necessary, and B, whether or not legislation passed by the Assembly has been operationalized, and where operationalized, the extent to which such operationalization has taken place within the minimum time necessary. The committee may propose to the Assembly sanctions against any member of County Executive Committee who fails to report the relevant Select Committee on Implementation status without justifiable reasons. Acknowledging that in executing its mandate, the committee requested for information from the Department of Agriculture, Livestock, Food Security and Implementation status of Machakos County Agricultural Training Center, ATC. Further, aware that the committee invited the chief officer for the relevant department to committee meeting and discussed the implementation status as it was recommended by the Committee on Agriculture. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give notice of motion that this Honorable House discusses and approves the report of Committee on Implementation on the on the implementation status of Machakos County Agricultural Training Center. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I call upon.
It's okay. That is just a notice of motion.
Oh.
That's okay. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable members, under this order number, we have one business to be transacted by Honorable Mark Kimandi Mwendo, the Majority Leader of the House. Honorable Kimandi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, aware that Article 185 sub-Article 3 of the Constitution of Kenya states that the County Assembly, while respecting the principle of separation of powers, may exercise oversight over the County Executive Committee members and any other executive organs. Honorable Speaker, acknowledging that there is established Kenya Roads Board, that is KRMB, a state corporation established under KRMB Act number 7 of 1999, that administers the road maintenance levy fund and thereby finances maintenance of roads through various agencies, including county government. Honorable Speaker, further aware that our county government has been receiving allocations from the Kenya Roads Board pursuant to the County Allocation of Revenue Act 17. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 41, I wish to seek the following statement from the Chairperson, Transport, Roads, Housing and Public Works Committee. A report on the KRB road projects done by the department from 2018 to 2022, indicating the following: contract number, B, name of the contractor, C, contract description, D, contract sum, E, ward in which the project is located. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mark Mwendo, Majority Leader of the House. Honorable members, this is a statement, and as always, as is custom of the House, when a statement of this nature comes before the floor of the House, the Chair gives honorable members time to put their input on it before it is committed to the relevant committee. Do you have any honorable member here who would like to discuss on the same? Honorable Moses Mita.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Moses Mita, representing Kangundo Central Ward residents. I also want to applaud the students from Kitengela International School for the time they have come to be with us. I want to applaud the teachers for being good in leadership and showing the kids ways on how they can manage and improve on matters related to their future. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Majority Leader Mwendo, Mark Mwendo, for seeking this statement. However, Honorable Speaker, there is similarity on a statement I sought in 2019, same. And now that the chairman is also in this committee, in this house, and committee members also are in this house, Honorable Speaker, as they respond, Honorable Speaker, I would request also if they can maybe update the House on how far they have gone with the statement which I sought, and if possible, the two statements can be combined, and we get feedback as soon as possible, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Moses. Honorable Judas now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. My name is Judas Ndawa, MCA Matu Ward. I would also like to welcome our visitors today. these are the leaders who will take from where we are going to reach. So I want to take this opportunity to welcome to this house and tell them this is the highest decision-making organ of Machakos. Mr. Speaker, on the matter before the House, the statement is quite okay, and there is urgent need for us to get the information, because if a certain project was done, it will be prudent for that information to be provided so that the honorable member of that particular ward can confirm and say whether the project is there or it is just in papers. Mr. Speaker, the only challenge with the statement is that we are seeking answers from the chairperson of transport and roads. And that particular officer, that is a particular MCA, or that chairperson, may not have all the information. Mr. Speaker, I think the best way is also to invite the department. Those who are manning the department should be invited to the General Committee so that they can shed light on every aspect. Because if we rely on the information that we are going to be getting from the chairperson, that will be secondary information. We need to get primary information or first-hand information. And the first-hand information can only be gotten from the department. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Judas Dawa. Honorable Joanna Munyao.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Johanna Munyao, representing the great people of Mutituni. Mr. Speaker, I want to support that statement because the statement is timely. The statement comes at a time when we are transiting from KRB funds as a conditional grant to it being part of the equalization fund, and it is important we get a trace of how the fund was utilized, the distribution, so that we are sure that with the new arrangement of the same fund, we are sure when we sanitize through this statement on how such funds were used, we will be sure that now going forward, things will be done in the right manner. Mr. Speaker, seeking the statement from the chair, who is also a member of this assembly, to me we are also rehearsing, because as proposed in the BBI which is being worked on, we were expecting CECMs in the future to be drawn from this assembly, and therefore statements will be sought from among ourselves, and it is the high time members we started rehearsing on how to respond to such statements when they are sought in this honorable house. So, Mr. Speaker, it is important we get a clear report, and even the format of the statement to me is the best. We want to know the projects done, the location of the projects, maybe the amounts, and if possible, I would also request to know the status of payment. Could they also be forming part of the pending bills, or have we cleared with the contractors who did the projects? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Joanna. Honorable Deputy Majority Leader, Honorable Justice Kitengo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank Honorable Majority Leader for seeking this statement. Being a member of the State Committee, Transport Committee, Roads and Transport Committee, Housing and Public Works, I can say that we have been doing also our best, but seeking the statement now to know the procedures of the KRB.
The statement is actually seeking for a listing of the contracts which have been done.
Yes, Honorable
Award.
Speaker.
Yes.
We have been trying to seek all this information from the department, which is the executive, and I understand we have been getting the minimal information, and I will defend my chair on that because we always seek through our clerks and we write to the department, and once we write to the department, actually they give, as I said, they give very minimal. My stand is that as you give us the directive on the statement, I think it's high time that we also, as members, we try to make sure that each and every committee has the right information on whatever is happening, because if I understand it, the last KRB, which was, I think was awarded, is 2020, 2021. The distribution of the projects was poorly done, because I understand the amount wasn't distributed to the 40 wards. It was distributed for less than 14 wards. Because I understand you can see one project was being given for 18 million, another one for 3 million, depending on the ward. And no matter how little the money is, next time as we continue, we will argue the county executive that they try to feed all the wards equally, because I understand some of the wards, the roads are in pathetic situation, and as we seek from them, we need also as a house to give the guidance that distribution of the resources, no matter where the money is coming from, is very important, and they should distribute to all wards from my ward, Kiva, all the way to Mavoko Ndidine area, so that we have equitable distribution of the resources. So, Honorable Speaker, I support the statement, but the statement should be directed to the Department of Roads and Transport. Executive, thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Daniel, you will be the last one to comment, being the chair of the committee. Let me have Honorable Musau, then Honorable Thomas. Honorable Musau.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I would wish to thank our brother, Honorable Mwendo, for seeking such an important statement. Mr. Speaker, with your approval, I would wish to seek an amendment of the same to include the level of implementation of the projects, whether they are 100% done, or to what percentage. Because in my word, Mr. Speaker, sir, I believe still up to today, there is a project that is incomplete. And I think, Mr. Speaker, the same might be happening in other words. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Musau. Honorable Thomas Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Thomas Mutinda, member of County Assembly, Wamonyo Ward. Let me start by welcoming the group from Kitangela International Schools and urge them to start creating appetite for leadership at this stage as we work, and tell them welcome as we go on. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Majority Leader for the statement, and also, Mr. Speaker, say that it's important that we get to know whether the rules of the KRB changed. Mr. Speaker, previously, there was the issue of having projects which impact, and that was a guideline from the KRB board. And now, once you see like this one for this current year, Mr. Speaker, projects were less than 3 million. So previously it was different and now it's different. It should be inquired to be known. Is it that their rules changed or what is happening? Because a project in roads for less than 3 million is a very small project. So that should come clear to this House. And also, Mr. Speaker, there is the issue of the projects which have already been done. The standards should be checked. We have the issue of Marami. There are places where Maram has been put, Mr. Speaker. But then, after a year or two, the Maram is again no more. So, Mr. Speaker, those are issues which becoming clear, because we might have done something, a project 2 or 3 years ago, and it's no more. So the standards shouldn't be checked. And we see whether we are giving our people value for our monies. Because like now, the issue of roads in Machakos is a problem. And this should not be left to stay that way. A lot should be unearthed to be known what is becoming the problem. The Department of Roads is given over $1 billion, and what is translating down there at the wards or at the field is very little. Or so far, we have only the 3 million projects, nothing more. But the budget, once you take the 3 million times 40 wards, that's 120 million. But the department has over $1 billion funds. So where is the other fund going? Because we don't see anything else. And I know it's the department which takes care of infrastructure and offices, but at these times when we are working with computers and whatever, then it's not the high time to be doing buildings, a lot of them vigorously. So a lot should be inquired, a lot should come clear to this house so that we can see way forward. And again, do a lot what impacts to our people. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Pauline Mene.
Can see me so that I can encourage the young girls.
Come right to the front here. You may use the one in the front right here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Kitengela International School, you're welcome to the assembly. I noticed you when you were coming in. You were very smart. And I noticed it's a mixed school. There are girls, and I want to encourage the girls. We have gone ahead of you. We have made it, and so you can make it. Mr. Speaker, on the subject that is on the floor of the House, I wish to request you as the chair, because I saw the other day when we had the committee of the whole, it bore fruit. I am in the transport committee, and that statement was once sought, but we got very minimal information from the CEC. Now it has been sought again, and I don't think we will get any information. But I saw when we had the committee of the whole, we got quite substantial information from the CEC. So I would request that probably we should hold a committee of the whole and address the issue on the floor of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very, very much, Honorable Pauline Mene. Oh, I would like to call upon the chair, who is Honorable Daniel Bevy. He's the one who is is going to be directed to a committee, another committee. So maybe you just comment on it before I do the commitment. Honorable Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, my name is Daniel Mutukumbebi, MCA Mlolongo Shokema Ward. In fact, I just wanted to appear as chair, but what I wanted to say has been said by Mheshimiwa Honorable Mene. In fact, this statement was sought, and the minimal information we get from the executive is very minimal. So I wish the same, that we have, as we wait for your direction, Mr. Speaker, my humble request if the direction could get to the committee of the whole House, because that is the only way and where we can discuss these matters, because it cuts across all the wards. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Chair of Transport Committee. Honorable members, I thank you for the contribution you've made towards this statement. It's important, again, just to make a summary as to what the Honorable Member Joanna Munyao said, that we are at the end, this is the first year when we are no longer having KRB, but KRB has been absorbed in the equitable share, so it comes as part of equitable share. And therefore, it is only prudent to have an exit audit, whereby we are able to see or to be able to gauge information on how the fund operated during the time when it was in existence in the second assembly. So we are talking about the projects which will be awarded from 2017 up to 2022 under the KRB process. And I therefore direct that this statement be responded to. First of all, it is committed to the General Oversight Committee, which is going to be chaired by the Honorable Speaker of this House. Would like the statement to be forwarded to the CC in charge of transport, and both the CC in charge of transport and the Chief Officer in charge of that department to appear before the General Oversight Committee in the next 14 days so that they can be able to provide the information sought by the Honorable Member and also answer any questions which the Honorable Members might have. It should be clear on the I'm addressing myself to the table clerk, to the table desk, that the issues which are being sought for there are a tabulation of all projects which have been undertaken by Kenya Roads Board from 2017 to 2022, indicating the information which has been requested by the Honorable Member: A, the contract number; B, the name of the contractor; C, the contract description; D, the contract sum; E, the ward in which the project is allocated. There's an Honorable Member who said we need to look at, they need to also to provide the status of the implementation. That needs to be included in the letter, which I need to see before it goes. And I would also request the Honorable Members of this Honorable House to furnish the clerk of the Transport Committee with the projects which have been undertaken by KRB in your ward, so that we also have our own database here directly from the Honorable Members, which we shall use to compare against whatever information that the executive is going to provide to the General Oversight Committee. So my request is that you'll send a message to all members of this Honorable House to furnish the clerk to the Transport Committee a list of KRB projects which have been undertaken in their ward and the status of completion. There's an issue also which I don't want to forget, I've just seen it here, the status of payments for all of them. Ensure we get to know the status of payments, whether all of them have been paid. But believe you me, one thing which will come out of this, as you will see when we meet here, KRB are always paid. It is very difficult to get a pending bill under KRB because of what you'll see under the list of items to be provided here. Thank you very much. Mr. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 8, motion approval of report on consideration of the public finance management, Machakos County Emergency Fund Regulations 2021.
Honorable members, under this order number, we have one business to be transacted by the Honorable Patrick Ketuko, who is the chairperson of the Delegated County Legislation Committee, or in his absence, Honorable Kieti, understand, will hold brief for Honorable Patrick Ketuko. Honorable Cosmas Kieti, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm Cosmas Kieti. I represent Lower Karen Kan Ward, and I'm standing in for Honorable Ketuku, MCA Dithini Ward. Honorable Speaker, it's a motion on approval of report on consideration of the Public Finance Management, Machakos County Emergency Fund, Regulations 2021. Honorable Speaker, that aware that Article 94(5) of the Constitution provides that no person or body other than Parliament has the power to make provision having the force of law in Kenya, except under authority conferred by this constitution or by legislation. Further aware that Article 95(6) of the Constitution provides that an act of parliament or legislation of a county that confers on any state organ, state officer, or person the authority to make provision having the force of law in Kenya, as contemplated in Clause 5, shall expressly specify the purpose and objectives for which the authority is conferred, the limits of the authority, and the nature and scope of the law that may be made, and the principles and standards applicable to the law made under the authority. Acknowledging that the Public Finance Management Machakos County Emergency Fund Regulations 2021 were published in the Kenya Gazette, filed legal notice number 18 of 2012, and submitted to the Clerk of the County Assembly for consideration in line with Section 11 of the Statutory Instruments Act 2013. Cognizant that the regulations seek to establish an efficient institutional framework for the management of disasters and emergencies, as well as facilitate and coordinate the development and the implementation of an integrated disaster preparedness and emergency management system in the county. I wish to move the motion that this Honorable House discusses and approves the committee report on delegated county legislation on consideration of the Public Finance Management Machakos County Emergency Fund Regulations 2021. I wish to call upon Honorable Zomo to second the motion.
Honorable Musimi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable John Zomo Musimi, representing the people of Kangunda North. I do second the report.
Thank you very much, Honorable Katie. You may read the report, and I would suggest that members have the report with them, and therefore you will read the composition of the committee, and then I would request you move on to number 7, which is implementation status of the report on status of Agricultural Training Center. We start from page 7, going forward, unless the table, I think that's okay, on that report. Because the page, it only has about 10 pages from there. It's about 10 pages only. So read the committee membership, and then we start from number 7.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I continue, let me also welcome Kitengela International School and encourage the boys, because Honorable Pauline encouraged the girls. The boy child is always forgotten, and as a father, I also want to encourage the boys to work hard. God created man and made the woman out of man, and you are the leaders of tomorrow. So feel welcome. Honorable Speaker, this is the report of the Select Committee on Delegated County Legislation on consideration of the Public Finance Management Machakos County Emergency Fund Regulations 2021. Honorable Speaker, the committee membership. Honorable Speaker, committee membership comprises of 1, Honorable Patrick Kituku, Chairperson, Honorable George Kingori, Vice Chairperson, Honorable Pauline Munguti as a member, and then the others are members the following: Honorable Josephat Kasioki, Honorable Cosmas Kieti, Honorable Daniel Kilu, Honorable Stephen Mwandi, Honorable Daniel Befi, Honorable Thomas Mutinda, Honorable John Zom Musimi, Honorable Margaret Bithi, Honorable Ekusa Kaloki, and Honorable Constance Bula. The committee has the following secretariat. 1, we have Ms. Sarah Mwanya, who is the clerk, who is a clerk assistant. Ms. Faith Kilonzo, also a clerk assistant. Mr. Joseph Mutiso, hazard reporter, and Mr. Joel Kiptum, the Sanjay Etams. Honorable Speaker, with your guidance.
Yeah, just go ahead, please.
With your guidance, as you have said, the committee has, the report has 18 regulations, and since the members have the report with them, we'll go straight to page 7. I think all the regulations are well outlined up to the 18th one on page 7. So, Honorable Speaker, I'm on 3.0, committee observations. The committee examined the Machakos County Emergency Fund Regulations 2021 against the Constitution of Kenya, the Public Finance Management Act 2012, and the Statutory Instrument Act 2013, and made the following observations. 1, statutory timelines, that the regulations were published in the Gazette as required, hence within the statutory timelines as contemplated under Section 11(1) of the Statutory Instrument Act of 2013. 311, consultation and public participation, that Article 10 and 118 of the Constitution, Section 5A, and the schedule to the Statutory Instruments Act requires the regulation making authority to conduct public participation and sufficient consultation with the stakeholders and persons likely to be affected by the regulations, and this was demonstrated. 312, regulatory impact statement. The regulations do not require a regulatory impact statement within the meaning of Section 6, 7, and 8 of the Statutory Instruments Act, as they are not likely to impose significant costs on the community. Then, Honorable Speaker, I'm in 4.0, committee recommendations. Honorable Speaker, having examined the Machakos County Emergency Fund Regulations 2020 against the Constitution of Kenya, the Public Finance Management Act of 2012, and the Statutory Instrument Act of 2013, the committee recommends that the House approves the said statutory instrument in accordance with the Section 110(1) of the Public Finance Management Act. Honorable Speaker, it is therefore my privilege, on behalf of Delegated County Legislation Committee, to table this report for consideration and adoption. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Cosmas Kieti, for representing Honorable Frederick Modoka very well. A report well read. Honorable members, I now propose the question that this Honorable House discusses and approves the committee report on delegated county legislation on consideration of the Public Finance Management Machakos County Emergency Fund Regulations 2021. Honorable members, you may debate on these regulations. Honorable Moses Mita.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Again, I'm Honorable Moses Mita, representing Kangundo Central Ward people. Honorable Speaker, I first want to applaud the committee, Delegated County Legislation, for tabling this report before the House for approval. Honorable Speaker, as you can see, these regulations were published in Kenya Gazette number 18 of 2012, and again submitted to the Clerk County Assembly for consideration in line with Section 11 of the Statutory Instruments Act in 2013. Honorable Speaker, it's unfortunate that since this time, Machakos County has not approved these regulations, Honorable Speaker, and we have been victims of emergencies, Honorable Speaker. Our residents have frequently suffered from erratic weather conditions, Honorable Speaker. We have experienced floods, Honorable Speaker. We have experienced disasters related to fire, Honorable Speaker, especially in areas around Mavoko, Mlolongo, that area. Honorable Speaker, we have also experienced drought. Recently, we had an invasion of locusts, Honorable Speaker, and it's only through enactment of this regulation that the county government, through the executive, can access these funds which year after year have been put in the budget, but it could not be utilized, Honorable Speaker. It's unfortunate that our people have been suffering on a very important law which would have been taken into consideration and with the seriousness it deserves, Honorable Speaker, and have it implemented. So it's on that point that I want to thank the committee for seeing it good, Honorable Speaker, to cushion our people from the difficulties we encounter, or else they encounter, whenever emergencies occur. Honorable Speaker, I call upon my colleagues to see the need on approving these regulations so that also the executive can move in speed and implement on the same. Because, Honorable Speaker, I want to state from an experience, even right now, Honorable Speaker, we have an issue which is ongoing in our county, and as Chair Agriculture, we have areas where there is fall of Africa armyworms, Honorable Speaker. And we are finding it hard to purchase pesticides. We are finding it hard to access funds to help our farmers. And as you know, Honorable Speaker, the food in our farms, it's not yet ready for harvesting. And these armyworms are really creating a lot of damage, especially on maize. So, Honorable Speaker, if this regulation was in force, the Department of Agriculture would have easily applied for funds which would have been used on trying to help our farmers get out of the problem. Honorable Speaker, again, we have had floods. I'm a victim, my ward. Recently, December, I think, when there was a lot of rain, we had some houses which actually were destroyed by floods. And you find the residents could not do anything. They needed our help as a county government. And as much as they kept on calling and seeking assistance, again, we could not help them, Honorable Speaker. Neither could we purchase blankets, Honorable Speaker, food. There is a lot which this fund can help. And now that the money has been put in the budget, Honorable Speaker, I find it good that we champion for fully implementation of this regulation. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Moses. Honorable Daniel Mbevi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Daniel Mutukumbevi, MCA Mololongo Shukima Ward. I'm a member of this committee, delegated, and I think, if I may comment on this issue, Mr. Speaker, my area probably is the most affected area in Mololongo because of the construction of mabati houses, which are all over in Mololongo. And I would wish, if this is implemented, because as we talk now, very many people have been rendered to actually losing a lot of monies, and also subjected to auction, because if a Mabati house burns, and normally in Mlolongo, we use these Mabati houses as shops to do our businesses. Once fire catches up, very many people lose their properties, and they are surrendered to auctions because most of them depend on small loans, and you find that if there is no something to cushion their lives after the ban, they are rendered into a very difficult situation. Actually, before Christmas, we had one investor who his plot got burnt, and he had over 20 tenants who had put their businesses there. It burnt. I even went ahead and contacted our deputy governor, and he himself also could not help. So it could be very good if this is implemented and that money put into use to get our people to be to get the support of that fund. So I wish to support that and probably plea with the authority that is concerned to ensure that this money they approve the funds. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Daniel. Could the mover of the motion, Honorable Kieti, respond, please?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I want to thank members for their contribution, and it's my wish that we are going to approve this this motion so that these regulations come in force so that our people do not continue suffering. Mr. Speaker, we have experienced so many disasters, as Honorable Mita cited, including landslides, which have killed and destroyed property. And this has caused a lot of harm to our people. And even up to at the moment, we also experiencing COVID, which was not expected when it came in sometime in 2020. And since there was no kitty to cater for such kind of an occurrence, I think the county government found it hard to embrace that COVID when it first came. So having an emergency kitty will help a lot in case of any disaster or in case of any happening that is likely to affect the residents in our county and also to affect the property in our account. We have looked at all the regulations and they are in order, and there is nothing that should scare us from passing this or approving this report on public on county emergency fund. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Cosmas Kieti. Honorable members, I now put the question that this Honorable House discusses and approves the committee report on delegated county legislation on consideration of the public finance management, the Machakos County Emergency Fund Regulations 2021. As many as other opinions say ayes. As many as the contrary opinions say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, you have now approved regulations which are going to be now forwarded to the CCM in charge of finance for implementation. This means, therefore, that effective the next budget, which we are doing for the financial year 2022-2023, the emergency fund kit should have funds in it, because right now the House has approved the regulations which were being waited for. Honorable member here has actually highlighted a very important thing, that those regulations were forwarded 2013, and since gazetted 2012 and 2013, and since then they have not been implemented. What that tells you is that there might have been some pushback on trying to implement this very, very critical fund, because without an emergency kit, then if you don't plan, then you plan to fail. If we get any emergency whatsoever, we have been actually grappling in the dark, and I now hope that with this House having established these regulations, Machakos County, in as far as emergency preparedness is concerned, is going to be in better state. With that, honorable members, the House is adjourned to resume again on Wednesday, the 16th day of February, 2022 at 2:30 p.m. Thank you, honorable members.